Welcome to creating your first SAP BTP Subaccount. Today we'll create your very first subaccount. A subaccount is your dedicated workspace in SAP BTP where you can deploy applications and services. For instance, a company might create separate subaccounts for development and production environments. This foundational step will enable you to start building and managing your solutions effectively. Subaccounts help organize different projects and environments. Think of them as separate digital workspaces. For example, you could have one subaccount for developing a sales app and another for testing it before launch. This structure keeps your work clean and prevents mix-ups between different stages or projects. Think of subaccounts like separate workspaces for your applications. This means each subaccount is an isolated environment where you can develop, test, and run different apps without interference. For example, you could have one subaccount for your HR system and another for finance, keeping them securely apart. This separation ensures organized and secure management of your projects. By the end, you'll have a working subaccount ready to use. This means you will create your own dedicated space in SAP BTP to manage services. For example, think of it like setting up a new department in your company with its own budget and tools. Now you are prepared to start deploying applications securely. A subaccount is your dedicated workspace in SAP BTP. A subaccount is your personal workspace in SAP BTP. Think of it as your own secure area where you manage applications, services, and user access. For example, a developer uses it to build and test a new mobile app without affecting other projects. This setup keeps your work organized and isolated. It's where you deploy applications and services. Think of it as your dedicated workspace in the cloud where you build and run your software solutions. For example, a company might use a subaccount to host its custom employee portal application. This space keeps your projects organized and running smoothly. Each subaccount can have different settings and environments. This means you can customize configurations like security policies and deploy varied runtimes, such as for development versus production, within each subaccount. For example, one subaccount might host a test application with relaxed security, while another runs the live app with strict access controls. This flexibility allows tailored management for distinct project needs. You can create multiple subaccounts for different projects. This means each of your distinct business initiatives can have its own isolated environment. For example, a retail company might use one subaccount for its e-commerce platform and another for inventory management. This separation keeps each project's resources and configurations neatly organized and secure. Accessing the SAP Business Technology Platform cockpit. Open your web browser and go to the SAP BTP cockpit. This means using a browser like Chrome to navigate to the central web interface for managing your SAP cloud services. For example, just as you visit a company website to access information, you go here to manage your applications and resources. This is your starting point for all BTP activities. Log in with your SAP BTP credentials. This means using your unique username and password to securely enter the SAP Business Technology Platform's management interface. For example, an IT administrator uses these credentials to access the cockpit and manage cloud applications. This initial step is essential for all subsequent platform management activities. You'll see the Global Account Overview page. This is your central dashboard showing all your SAP BTP resources and services. For example, if you manage multiple development projects, this page lists each one, its status, and available entitlements. This gives you immediate control and visibility over your entire cloud environment from one starting point. This is your starting point for creating sub-accounts. Think of the BTP cockpit as the main dashboard where you begin organizing your cloud projects. For instance, a company would first log in here to set up a separate sub-account for their development team. From this central hub, you can efficiently manage all your BTP resources and environments. Navigate to the sub-account creation area to begin. From the Global Account page, click Create button. This means starting the process to set up a new sub-account directly from your main account overview. For instance, just like creating a new project folder within your main company drive. This action initiates the foundational setup for your SAP BTP environment. Select Sub-account from the Creation options. This means you choose the specific item labeled Sub-account from the list of things you can create. For instance, when you want to manage development projects separately, you create a sub-account for each one. This is your first step to organizing your resources in the BTP cockpit. The sub-account creation wizard will open. This means a guided interface appears to help you set up your sub-account. For example, it's like an online form that walks you through entering details such as the sub-account name and region. This structured approach ensures a correct and efficient setup every time. We'll fill in the details step by step. This means we will enter each required piece of information one at a time to properly set up our sub-account. For example, we will first name our project, then select the region, just like filling out a form. This careful approach ensures our foundation is set up correctly from the start. Step 2. Choose a good name for your sub-account. Give your sub-account a clear, descriptive name. This means choosing a name that instantly tells you its purpose, like US Production Finance for a financial system in the United States. A good name helps your team quickly identify and manage the correct environment, saving time and preventing errors. Always select a name that clearly communicates its role. Example, Dev Training Project or Test Environment. This means using clear, descriptive names that instantly convey the sub-account's purpose. For instance, naming it HR Payroll Test indicates it's for testing the HR payroll application. A well-chosen name helps your team quickly identify and manage the correct environment, avoiding confusion and errors in your projects. Use names that help you remember the purpose. This means selecting a clear, descriptive name that instantly tells you what the sub-account is for, avoiding vague terms. For example, name it EU Production HR App instead of just Test 1. This practice saves time and reduces confusion when managing multiple sub-accounts. Avoid using special characters or spaces. This means only use letters, numbers, and hyphens in your subaccount name. For example, use Dev Project 01 instead of Dev Project number 1. This ensures the name is compatible across all systems and avoids technical errors. Following this simple rule makes your setup process smooth and reliable. Step 3. Select your preferred deployment region. Choose the geographic region closest to your users. This means picking a data center location near where most people using your application are based. For example, if your main users are in Germany, select the Europe, Frankfurt region. This ensures faster response times and a better experience for everyone. This affects performance and data location. This means your app's speed and where its information is physically stored depend on the region you pick. For example, if your users are in Europe, selecting the Frankfurt region ensures faster response times and keeps their data within EU boundaries. Always choose a region that aligns with your users and data regulations. Common regions: US East, Europe, Frankfurt, Australia. This means you choose the physical data center location for your applications and data. For example, a US company serving local customers would select US East for faster performance. Selecting the correct region is a foundational step for optimal application latency and data residency compliance. For practice, any region will work fine. This means you can choose any available data center location without impacting your learning exercises. For instance, if you are in Asia but select Europe, your sample applications will still run correctly. The key is gaining hands-on experience regardless of geographic selection. Step 4. Choose your environment type. Select the environment that matches your needs. This means picking the SAP BTP environment like Cloud Foundry or Kyama that aligns with your project's requirements, such as scalability or specific runtimes. For instance, use Cloud Foundry for scalable web applications. Choosing correctly ensures your solution operates efficiently and integrates seamlessly. Cloud Foundry for modern cloud applications. This means using a flexible platform to build and run scalable apps with various programming languages. For example, a retail company could develop a custom mobile shopping app using Node.js and automatically scale it during holiday sales. This environment supports agile development for today's cloud needs. Kyama for container-based applications. This means running applications packaged with all their dependencies in isolated units called containers. For example, a microservice handling customer notifications would run independently in its Kyama container. This approach ensures your applications are portable, scalable, and easy to manage across different environments. ABAP for SAP-specific development. This means using SAP's own programming language to build or extend applications that integrate tightly with SAP systems. For example, creating a custom report that pulls data directly from SAP S/4HANA. This environment is ideal when your solution must deeply interact with existing SAP software. For beginners, Cloud Foundry is recommended. This means you get a ready-to-use platform where SAP manages the infrastructure so you can focus on coding. For instance, A new developer can quickly deploy a simple application without handling servers. This simplicity makes Cloud Foundry ideal for starting your journey. Step 5. Configure the basic settings. Set the subdomain. This becomes part of your URL. This means you choose a unique name that will be included in your account's web address. For example, if your company is Best Bikes, your subdomain could be Best Bikes, making your URL bestbikes.authentication.eu10.hana.ondemand.com. This step ensures your account has a distinct and accessible online location. Choose an organization name for your apps. This is a unique identifier that groups your applications together under one logical unit. For example, a company like Northwind Traders would use their name so all their apps are easily recognizable. This ensures your applications are properly organized and managed from the start. Select the entitlement level, trial or standard. This determines if you are using a free trial environment or a paid, full-featured production system. For instance, a developer testing a new app would choose trial, while a company deploying it for all employees would select standard. This choice is essential for aligning your setup with your project's needs. Review all settings before creating. This means carefully checking every configuration choice you've made. For instance, if setting up a cloud database, verify the storage size and region match your needs. This prevents costly rework and ensures your service starts correctly the first time. Always double-check to avoid mistakes. Step 6. Create your subaccount. Double-check all your settings. This means carefully reviewing every configuration you've just selected before finalizing the subaccount. For instance, if you accidentally choose the wrong region, your services might be deployed far from your users, increasing latency. A quick review now prevents major issues later. Click the Create button. This action finalizes your setup and officially establishes your dedicated space in SAP BTP. For instance, after filling out all details like name and region, this step is like confirming an online order to make it active. Now your subaccount is ready for use. Wait for the creation process to complete. This means the system is actively setting up your subaccount and you should not proceed until it's fully ready. For instance, like waiting for a coffee machine to finish brewing before pouring your cup. This ensures your subaccount is properly configured for the next steps. You'll see a success message when done. This means the system confirms your subaccount was created successfully. For example, after entering details and clicking Create, a green checkmark with subaccount created appears. Always wait for this confirmation before proceeding to ensure your setup is complete. Your new subaccount is now ready. Your subaccount now appears in the global account. This means your new workspace is visible and selectable within your organization's primary BTP container. For example, a company creating a development environment for a new app will see it listed alongside other projects. This confirms your subaccount is active and ready for your next steps. You can access it by clicking on its name. This means to enter your new workspace, simply select its title on your screen. For example, if your subaccount is named Project Alpha, click directly on Project Alpha to open it. This immediate action takes you straight into your dedicated SAP BTP environment. Inside, you'll see the Subaccount dashboard. This is your central control panel where you can manage all your services and applications in one place. For instance, you can quickly check your available cloud credits or start a new project from here. This dashboard is your go-to spot for everyday management tasks. This is your new workspace for building applications. Think of it as your personal digital workshop where you can create and manage your SAP solutions. For example, here you could develop a custom app to track employee training progress. This environment provides all the tools you need to bring your ideas to life. Exploring capabilities within your Subaccount. Deploy applications and services. This means you can install and run your own software or activate pre-built SAP solutions directly within your dedicated space. For instance, you could deploy a custom app that tracks real-time inventory levels. This foundational capability allows you to operationalize your business processes on the platform. Manage user access and permissions. This means you control who can log in and what they're allowed to do within your applications and services. For instance, you could grant your developers permission to create new applications while restricting other users to only viewing data. This ensures that the right people have the right level of control over your cloud resources. Monitor resource usage and performance. This means you can track how much of your cloud resources, like memory and processing power, are being used and how well your applications are running. For instance, check if your e-commerce app is slowing down during peak sales. Keeping an eye on this helps ensure smooth and efficient operations. Configure security and connectivity settings. This means setting up who can access your applications and how they connect to other systems. For example, you can define that only employees from the HR department can access a specific payroll application. This foundational step ensures your solutions are both accessible to the right users and protected from unauthorized access. Adopt these best practices for optimal results. Use clear, consistent naming for all subaccounts. This means every subaccount name should follow a predictable pattern, making them easy to identify and manage. For instance, name one Produce Customer Portal for a production system in Europe. This simple habit prevents confusion and saves significant time during operations and troubleshooting. Choose regions based on your user locations. This means hosting your SAP BTP applications in a geographic region closest to where most of your users are. For example, if your main office is in Frankfurt, select the Europe, Frankfurt region. This minimizes network delay, providing a faster and more responsive experience for your team. Start with Cloud Foundry for learning. It's the foundational environment in SAP BTP, offering a straightforward way to deploy and manage applications using common developer tools. For instance, you can easily push a simple Hello World application using the command line interface. Mastering this first builds the essential skills needed for more advanced BTP services. Keep development and production in separate subaccounts. This means using isolated environments for building and testing versus live operations to prevent disruptions. For example, a developer testing a new feature won't accidentally affect the active customer-facing system. Always maintain this separation to ensure stability and security. Congratulations on your successful completion. You successfully created your first subaccount. This is your dedicated workspace in the cloud, like setting up a private office for a new project team. For instance, a company could create one to develop a new customer portal, keeping it separate from their main systems. This foundational step enables you to start building and deploying your own applications securely. You learned about regions and environments. A region is a geographic location for your services, while an environment is a specialized workspace for specific tasks. For example, you might use the Europe region and a Cloud Foundry environment to build applications. This foundational knowledge is key to deploying solutions effectively on SAP BTP. You understand subaccount naming best practices. This means using clear, consistent names for your SAP BTP environments to avoid confusion. For example, name a development subaccount DevUcore to indicate its purpose, region, and application. This practice ensures your team can quickly identify and manage the correct resources. You are ready to start building in SAP BTP. This means you now have the foundational skills to create cloud applications and extensions. For example, you could develop a simple app that automatically notifies teams when inventory runs low. Your journey as an SAP BTP developer begins now. Go build something amazing.